Have you ever had a family member look you right in the eye and treat you like you're nothing? Like all your work, all your time, all your effort means less than nothing to them. That the only reason you exist is to make their life easier. If you know that feeling, then you know exactly how I felt in the days leading up to my sister Chloe's wedding. It wasn't always like this. We were actually pretty close growing up. But when she got engaged to Mark, something in her just switched off. It was like she saw every single person in her life, especially me, as a tool to build her perfect wedding day. And I was the main tool. See, I'm the organized one in the family. I plan corporate events for a living. So when Chloe got her ring, my mom immediately said, "Oh, Sarah will handle all the planning. It'll be her gift to you." And before I could even say congratulations, the job was dumped in my lap. I didn't mind at first. I thought it would be a fun project for us to do together. I was so naive. The first sign of trouble was the binder. I made her a beautiful planning binder, color-coded, with tabs for venues, caterers, everything. I was so proud of it. I gave it to her over coffee. She flipped through it, didn't smile, and said, "Yeah, this is a good start, but I need you to be more on top of this. This is the most important day of my life." Not our lives, her life. That was the theme. Every conversation became a list of demands. I stopped getting texts that said, "Hey, how are you?" and started getting texts that were just lists. Find a florist who has peonies that are blush, not bashful. I didn't even know there was a difference. The cake baker needs to guarantee a fondant that doesn't taste like Play-Doh. Confirm. It was constant, and it was always framed as me doing my family duty. My mom would call and say, "Be nice to your sister, she's stressed. Just do what she asks." So I did. I spent months of my life on this. I used my professional contacts to get discounts. I spent my weekends visiting venues with her. I negotiated with vendors. I wasn't the maid of honor. I was the unpaid, unappreciated wedding coordinator. The real turning point, the moment I knew I wasn't just being sensitive, happened about 2 months before the wedding. We were doing a cake tasting, and the baker, a lovely woman named Maria, was talking directly to me about delivery times and setup. Chloe snapped her fingers in front of my face. Actually snapped her fingers. She said, "Excuse me, I'm the bride. You talk to me. She's just the help." She said it with a little laugh, like it was a joke. But it wasn't a joke. Maria and I just made eye contact for a second, and I saw the pity in her eyes. I was so embarrassed. That night I was on the phone with my best friend Jake, just venting about the whole thing. I was imitating Chloe's voice, replaying the "she's just the help" comment, and Jake said, "You know, you should record this stuff. It's so over the top, no one would believe it." And that's when the idea started. Not a plan for revenge, not yet, just documentation. So I started secretly recording our phone calls. I'd put her on speaker and just let my phone record. At first it was just to prove to myself I wasn't going crazy, but the recordings were worse than I remembered. There was one where she screamed at me because the ribbons for the invitations were too silky and looked cheap. She said, "I don't care if you have to drive to another state. Find a matte ribbon. This is why you're still just planning other people's events and not living your own life." There was another where she told me I had to fire the band because the lead singer had a face that would ruin the aesthetic of the photos. It was never ending. The venom, the pure entitlement. I saved every one of those audio files. I didn't know what I would do with them. It was like a weird digital diary of my own humiliation. The wedding day itself was a blur of stress. I was running around from 5 a.m., dealing with a florist who was late, a bridesmaid who had a makeup crisis, and my sister who was having a full-blown meltdown because her something blue was the wrong shade of azure. I didn't eat. I didn't get to sit down, was just putting out fires. And through it all, my mom would just pat my shoulder and say, "You're such a good sister for doing all this." It felt so empty. The ceremony went off without a hitch. And honestly, Chloe looked beautiful. For a moment, watching her walk down the aisle, I forgot about all the awful stuff and just felt happy for her. That feeling lasted about an hour. We got to the reception. It was time for the speeches. The maid of honor, Chloe's friend from college who had done literally nothing but show up in the right dress, gave a generic, fluffy speech about how kind and generous Chloe was. Then the best man gave his speech. Then my dad gave a sweet, short speech. Then Mark, the groom, took the microphone. He started thanking people. He thanked the guests for coming. He thanked his parents. He thanked Chloe's parents. He thanked the wedding party by name. Thanks to Jessica for being such a great maid of honor. He went through every single bridesmaid and groomsman. I was standing by the DJ table just waiting. Surely he would say something. Surely Chloe would. I had organized this entire day. I had saved them thousands of dollars. I had dealt with every single problem. Mark finished his list and looked like he was about to hand the mic back. Then he seemed to remember something. Oh, and of course, we have to thank Sarah. My heart jumped for a second. This was it. He smiled right at me. She's been running around like a crazy person all day. A few people laughed politely. But that's what family's for, right? She was just doing her family duty. So, thanks for that, Sarah. And he put the microphone down. That was it. Just doing her family duty. I felt my face get hot. All the exhaustion, all the insults, all the snapped fingers and late-night demands. It all crystallized into one sharp, painful point right then. I looked at Chloe. She was smiling at Mark, nodding in agreement. She didn't even look at me. I was invisible. I was the help. I felt like I was outside of my body. I could see the whole room, everyone chatting, eating cake, completely unaware that my entire relationship with my sister had just ended in 5 seconds. And that's when the DJ, a guy I'd hired and personally briefed, came over to me. He said, "Hey, the bride's mom said you might want to say a few words too, since you did so much." He held out a wireless microphone. He was trying to be nice. For a second, I was just going to shake my head no. The idea of getting up and faking a happy speech made me feel sick. But then I thought about my phone. I thought about all those audio files sitting in a folder labeled wedding stuff, and a calmness washed over me. This wasn't a rage decision. It was the most clear-headed I'd felt in months. I took the microphone from the DJ and gave him a small smile. "Thanks. Can you plug my phone into your system? I have a little audio clip I put together for her." He looked a little confused, but he was a professional. Yeah, sure. Just plug it into this jack." I fumbled with my phone, my hands shaking not from nervousness but from adrenaline. I found the audio app. I had never made a compilation, but I knew which clips I needed. I quickly selected 3. The "She's Just the Help" clip, the "This is why you're still just planning other people's events" clip, and the one about firing the band because of the singer's face. I queued them up to play one after the other. I took a deep breath and walked to the center of the dance floor. The room was still loud. I tapped the microphone. "Hey everyone, can I have your attention for a second?" The crowd quieted down. I saw Chloe and Mark look over from the head table. Chloe had a tight, confused smile on her face. Like, "What are you doing?" I looked right back at her. "So, as Mark just said, I'm Sarah, the sister of the bride, and I've been so honored to help plan this beautiful day for my amazing sister Chloe." My voice was steady, sweet even. "It's been a real labor of love, and Chloe shared so many heartfelt and personal thoughts with me during the process. I wanted to make sure her words were remembered on this special day, so I put together a little something." I gave a small nod to the DJ. He looked pale, but he hit play on my phone. And then my sister's voice, crystal clear and dripping with contempt, echoed through the entire reception hall. "Ugh, just talk to the baker, but remember, you're just the help. Make sure she knows that. I'm the boss." There was a dead silence in the room. You could hear a pin drop, then the next clip played. "This is why you're still just planning other people's events and not living your own life. Maybe if you put this much effort into your own career, you'd be somewhere by now." I saw my mom's hand fly to her mouth. I saw Mark staring at Chloe, his mouth wide open. The final clip played. "Did you see the lead singer's nose? It's huge. I don't want a man with a nose like that anywhere near my wedding pictures. His face will ruin everything. Fire him. Find someone with better bone structure." I stopped the audio. The silence in the room was heavier than any noise I've ever heard. I looked at Chloe. Her face was a mask of pure, undiluted horror. She was white as a ghost. I spoke into the microphone one last time, my voice still calm. "So thank you, Chloe, for all your kind words and guidance throughout this process. It was truly a privilege to be your help. I placed the microphone gently on the edge of the head table and walked right out of the ballroom. I didn't run, I just walked. Through the lobby, out the front doors of the venue, and into the cool night air. I didn't look back. The fallout was, as you can imagine, nuclear. My phone blew up. First my mom, then my dad, then aunts, uncles. I turned my phone off. I went to Jake's apartment and we just sat in silence for a while. He finally said, "I can't believe you actually did it." And I said, "I can't believe I didn't do it sooner." The next day I turned my phone back on. There were a lot of angry messages, but there were others. Messages from Mark's brother. He wrote, "I always thought Chloe was a bit high-strung, but wow, Mark needed to hear that. Thank you." One of Mark's aunts sent me a message that just said, "You have more courage than anyone I know. We're all horrified by what we heard." Even one of the bridesmaids, Jessica, texted me to say she was sorry for not seeing how I was being treated. The wedding was ruined, of course. Chloe and Mark left for their honeymoon, but I heard from my mom that they were fighting the entire time. Their marriage lasted about a year. It turned out Mark didn't like being married to someone who could be so cruel. My relationship with my parents was strained for a few months, but they eventually came around. I think they were forced to see a side of my sister they had always chosen to ignore. It's been 2 years now. Chloe and I don't speak, and I'm okay with that. I realize that family isn't just about blood, it's about respect. I lost a sister that day, but I gained a profound sense of my own self-worth. I learned that you should never, ever let someone treat you like you're less than them, no matter who they are. And you should always, always respect the hands that help you, because you never know when they might just stop helping and decide to tell the truth instead. If you know someone who needs to hear that, maybe share this with them.